going, everybody? So we have a fun review today as we're finally talking your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. As somebody that considers Spider-Man to be my favorite superhero for basically as long as I can remember, I've been ecstatic about this new take on the character in this upcoming Disney Plus animated series. It's to the point where I literally read the prequel comic books leading up to this show just to show you that level of dedication I had to getting enveloped into the world. In all of the decades that Spider-Man has been around, we've had our fair share of iconic Spider-Man shows. My personal favorites being the show from the 90s and also Spectacular Spider-Man. But with nostalgia aside, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man feels like that perfect series to sort of bridge the gap for fans of all ages. One major thing that this series benefits from is the fact that there aren't really any restrictions on what they can do here with the show, because it isn't really tied to anything within the MCU. They kind of are able to just do whatever they want. Like, for example, this interpretation of Spider-Man isn't really all that interested in Iron Man. He's a massive Captain America fan. That part alone was pretty impressive to me because of the sheer amount of material that this show pulls from. Decades worth of comic books, characters, a plethora of different Spider-Man costumes, some of which were revealed in the marketing, while others I think have been kind of reserved. You haven't seen them in the marketing. All these different things are remixed in such a way to keep things fresh and inspired for those super fans. That isn't to say there aren't some decisions here creatively that I think are going to ruffle some fans, you know, die-hard Spider-Man fans, because even I wasn't a big fan of certain changes, but I can't really talk about them because they are considered spoilery. Nevertheless, I really like this interpretation of the Spider-Man universe. Something that never gets old is seeing how each and every show, the writers decide to tackle Peter as a character, learning to accept his powers and responsibilities, all the while juggling the usual dilemmas that come with being a teenager. And those elements are no different here in how Jeff Tremel writes your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. All of the passion, heart, and humor that makes Peter such an endearing character and incredibly relatable feels so prevalent each and every episode with the various arcs Peter goes through. Not only Peter either, there are some other characters in the periphery that get their own individual arcs that help flesh out the all-around world with Spider-Man affecting them all differently. Whether that be Nico Minoru, Harry Osborn, Luna Snow's in the show, by the way. My Marvel rival fans out there. Considering Spider-Man's rogue gallery is pretty impressive, whether it be the actual villains or just side characters, the ensemble for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is pretty phenomenal. They do a good job sprinkling in various different iconic characters throughout the 10 episodes. All of them are very fun, whether that be different antagonists like Scorpion or Dr. Octopus, or other characters that are sprinkled in like the Daredevil episode, which is extra cool because he is voiced by Charlie Cox, obviously from the Daredevil Netflix show. Very different interpretation of the character. Nevertheless, it was awesome getting to see Daredevil and Spider-Man interact in this episode. The greatest one out of them all, though, in my personal opinion, is Coleman Domingo voicing Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, is one of my favorite villains in all of comic books. And Coleman Domingo is complete perfection as Norman Osborn. He completely elevates this iconic villain to new heights. He fills the usual Norman Osborn role that we see in a lot of the comic books, pertaining to how he factors into Peter's life as a sort of mentor while having this menacing, imposing presence. His all-around dynamic between him and Peter is one of the greatest strengths to the episodes, and in how it builds into potentially a season 2. We have to kind of address the elephant in the room here, because I was one of those people that was skeptical about it as well once they officially started dropping footage of this show. The animation style here definitely warrants some criticism. In my personal opinion, I've been very mixed on the style of animation these Disney Plus Marvel shows employ. Like, I really didn't enjoy the style all that much in What If whatsoever, but X-Men 97 did genuinely impress me, since once I watched the show and saw the animation on display, I thought it turned out pretty great. Whereas for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's animation, I would still say I'm somewhere in the middle between good and bad. There are times where Spider-Man in action is visually appealing. You feel the energy of comic book panels coming to life and how they try to emulate the comics. Many of the different designs of the characters feel very heavily inspired by classic 60s Spider-Man, Steve Ditko era. They mix those designs with the energy of the action and the movement of the camera, and those parts are fairly enjoyable. But then there are a lot of other segments throughout the 10 episodes where there are some pretty questionable sequences as far as the animation that are pretty rough to look at. It almost feels like, in a way, they were kind of cutting corners, not putting a lot of time and effort into it. Maybe as the seasons go on, the animation will tweak and get a little bit better. I'm just feeling very mixed. I mean, I can understand the criticism for the animation style. Comparing it to the other Spider-Man shows throughout the decades, animation-wise, it's probably towards the bottom, all the way down there with the 2002 MTV show. To be fair to that show, though, the show did come out over 20 20 years ago. Admittedly, the show also starts out kind of slow out of the gate. Momentum does slowly pick up over the course of the first couple episodes. Maybe that's part of why they're releasing this show in kind of weird batches. That's probably why I'm not going to cover the show week to week, just because it's just such a weird release schedule. Like this week, first 2 episodes, next week 3 episodes. Thankfully, regardless, all 10 episodes of the show are fairly short, kind of what you would expect, like What If or X-Men 97. Overall though, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is another phenomenal chapter carrying on Spider-Man's legacy. New fans and old fans will love what the show brings to the character, while it carves out an exhilarating, fresh new take for this generation. Once you get a chance to check out Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney Plus, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of the episode? Did you like the episodes? Did you not like the episodes? Share your thoughts down below, because the fun is that conversation with you guys in the comment section. Thank you guys, as always, checking out videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure to like the video. Also, subscribe to the channel to update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Till next time, see you guys later.